There are many reasons why success took its time for me. Nearly all of these reasons were my own fault. Interestingly, however, I have recently noticed that many others stumble with some of these very same reasons. Thus, by learning to overcome these problem elements, we can all have a much greater chance of success. It was only after I finally learned about success and reached success that I was able to look back and actually see what had been holding me back. By reciting them here, perhaps it may help some of you to clearly see certain obstacles that may be holding you back too, as only when we clearly know what the problems are can we apply an effective solution. So here are 10 ways that I sabotaged my success. Whenever I needed advice, I'd ask around. I've never been shy of seeking anyone's opinion. The problem is, often, I get too many answers, and because my questions aren't focused, that leads me to get confused and often slows my work down, as I'm dealing with information overload. Asking a question on a forum, for example, can bring you scores of replies, but you cannot really trust any of the replies as none of them really know your business. Do not collect advice. Take advice from somebody who has the life you want. Stick with them until they can offer no more advice. Then add a new mentor. Learn to be specific in the questions that you ask, as this will always get you more useful and relevant answers. Simply asking, how do I make more money with my business, may bring a variety of different answers, all relevant, but maybe in totally different direction. Asking a more specific question that is relevant to your situation, such as, how do I make more money with my mailing list that I've collected from my blog, will elicit more targeted answers, perhaps some that you can action straight away. Of course, you can make a success of yourself without a mentor, but be prepared for it to take twice as long. I tried to plow through the world of online marketing on my own before I accidentally found myself a great mentor. What this guy taught me in 6 months changed my life and my success story forever. Find someone who has the life you want and convince them that you are worthy to be mentored. Catch your target mentor's attention through comments on their blog or their social media that are thoughtful. It's so simple and it works. Just be consistent. Good comments like this can catch their attention, as a surprisingly small number of readers ever make the effort. Think about what you could do for them in return. Why should they invest time in you and not someone else? So make yourself attractive to them. This is indicative of what I like to call the entrepreneur's curse. The problem with me being both creative and an entrepreneur was that I could not seem to finish anything, and I could always dream up 100 other great new projects. The problem with that is that I had so many projects on the go at once that none of them received the dedication they required, and naturally many of them just fell way beyond par. That was until I learned to focus on one thing and do that one thing well. I developed my rule of 3, which stipulates that you must always think in threes. Write down the 3 most important tasks of the day. What are the 3 key features that your product must have? What are the 3 key messages your readers should learn? It helps you prioritize and stay focused on what is important. Don't overcomplicate things. Think in 3 and prioritize, as it is better to do 3 things well each day than 10 things that you will never be happy with. Half-finished products got me nowhere, so I could not sell anything or do anything with them. They just sat there, waiting to be forgotten. That was until my mentor instilled one very important habit within me, the habit of finishing something. You know, it's contagious. Once you feel the relief and exhilaration of completing a product, you cannot wait to finish another. Then there's not only the starting, the creating of an idea that excites you, but it's also the finishing of a product that excites you too. I guess it comes as no surprise that when I learned to finish things, success came knocking at my door. Learn to accept that one finished product is worth more than 100 unfinished ones. Do not try to be perfect, just finish it. We only ever need to be good enough, so get things finished and work on perfecting it later. Odds are that once finished, you will find that you are more than happy with the end result, without the need to continue perfecting it. I often use the excuse of perfecting things to stop me from completing projects. Just make it good enough and finish it. I was always so good at asking for advice, but strangely, I would never use any of the advice I had received. I'd like to make excuses as to why their advice would never work for me, such as, they already have a bigger list, or they have way more customers already, or they're already well known. It took a very confrontational encounter with my mentor for him to kick my butt into action and stop me from making excuses. Sometimes you become so blind to the obvious that you need someone to do that for you. If you trust the person, then try their advice. Interestingly, I always longed to be successful, yet I would keep making excuses so that I would not have to try too hard. This naturally made it very difficult for me to become successful, until I learned I have nothing to lose by trying. If I failed, then I'd be exactly where I am right now, but perhaps richer with the experience and knowledge I may have gained. In the best case scenario, I may even have learned to achieve success. It's bizarre. Once I cracked it, I could look back and see how much easier my journey could have been. I had this "it can't be that easy" attitude, which always kept me back from reaching my full potential. Understand that most people fail on their first few attempts. That's why it's called a learning curve. Surround yourself with people who are successful. There is a reason why powerful and successful people follow this rule. Believe that you have the ability to be successful, or you'll be just wasting your time. I would spend so much time getting distracted and actually doing nothing. I had to admit, I was just too lazy. Do something. It's always better than doing nothing. I hung my 4 magic words above my computer. This is useful because, and I constantly ask myself that question. Turn off all distractions when you work. Your phone, your email, internet, or anything that distracts you. I still have to fight this today. It's much easier to control, but the laziness is still hiding there somewhere. Even this project has tested me, yet only by forcing myself to do something will I teach my brain that laziness has no place in my life anymore. Working hard is not the same as working smart. I often pretended I was working, yet the most important jobs always found a way of being avoided. I lost track of what was important. I would be working, but not on the tasks that were actually important to my business success. I totally neglected to prioritize anything. Remember my rule of 3. Ask yourself at the beginning of the day, what 3 tasks are the most important? Now you know what your priority is, so don't let yourself become distracted. Write down all your tasks on a piece of paper and number them. 1's for urgent, 2's for important, and 3 for perhaps you should do. Do the 1's first, then the 2's, and forget about the 3's for now. Put all your tasks on post-it notes and have the satisfaction of throwing them away when you finally finished one. This was really motivational for me. The best athletes in the world have forfeits if they miss training, and a coach who measures their performance and tells them off if they are slacking. A boss always keeps an eye on their employees and ensures that we are always performing. Yet I, for some reason, felt I could do it all alone as an entrepreneur, until my mentor kicked my butt and showed me how productive I really could be. Find yourself an accountability partner to help yourself become accountable. I used my mentor, who would not talk to me unless I'd done the tasks I'd promised. I hope you found these tips useful. Remember, the road to success is supposed to be a little challenging. It makes us respect the journey once we've finally made it. Nobody has an easy ride in life, as we all face challenges. The successful identify these challenges and tackle them head on, whilst perhaps the unsuccessful sometimes allow these challenges to get the better of us. I'd love to hear your feedback on these tips and perhaps encourage you to share this with a friend, or even bookmark or tweet this so you can send it out to your readers too. Who knows? You may help someone else's day become that little bit more successful. Oh yeah, number 10. Take the first step and start doing something. It's crazy, but everything always seems to fall in place. Just get started. Yes, now. After writing this for a well-known blog, readers encouraged me to turn this into a book, which I did just for fun, and it became number 1 on Kindle. You can take a look at my debut book, 10 Hacks to Double Your Success as an Entrepreneur, at the links below.